welcome to our day trip from Wanaka in the South Island of New Zealand. We are in about the middle of the South Island of New Zealand, and we're traveling from Wanaka up through the Lindis Pass to Lake Pukaki and then to Lake Tekapo. So at the beginning of the day, I talked to Guy and said, I really want to see Lake Pukaki and Lake Tekapo. Guy said, oh, that's a long way to go. We'd have to be very, very efficient. We can't stop along the way and see anything. We can go there and come right back. I said, okay, I agree. Let's do it. We started off at the Lindis Pass, and this is a scenic drive that is 971 meters above sea level, or 3,186 feet above sea level. The road is surrounded by golden tussock grass on all sides with rolling and rounded hills. I hear it's absolutely stunning in the snow, but I'm telling you right now that this golden color against the blue skies was beautiful. We were traveling along State Highway 8 through this mountain pass. There was a sign for a viewpoint along the road, so I said, Guy, why don't we stop and just see the viewpoint? It's a short distance to the viewpoint. Let's go. And Guy said, we're not supposed to stop. I said, let's go. And Guy said, just this one stop. I said, okay, just this one stop, honey, I promise. This viewpoint was perfect for photography. It had nice flowers in the foreground and a winding road that led your eye through the landscape. It was beautiful. I took my walking sticks just in case we decided to take some of the extra hiking trails that go off of this viewpoint path. But I couldn't talk Guy into it at all, so after a short amount of time, we turned around and came right back. You know, I'm like kind of the exact opposite of having a child in the back seat of your car. I'm in the front seat, and kids in the back seat are saying, are we there yet? Are we there yet? And I'm like, can we stop here? Can we stop here? I just, it's so pretty, and it's hard to keep going, and it's a good thing Guy was driving, because I don't think we ever would have made it to the lakes, because he could tell me, no, you can't stop yet, honey. We have a long way to go yet. Okay, it doesn't count as stopping if I'm hanging my head out the window and taking video. That's not stopping, so this doesn't count. We didn't stop. So next along the way, we came to the clay cliffs of Omarama. These are eroded clay cliffs that look beautiful, and I wanted to stop and maybe go explore there a little bit. And I said, Guy, honey, can we stop and go explore the clay cliffs of Omarama? And Guy said, no, we have to keep going. Okay, we'll keep going. So we go a little further and we get to Twizel, and there are the Kellen Ponds. These are small, sheltered lakes that act like mirrors. Even when there's a small breeze, it's protected enough so that you get amazing reflections. And so I saw them and I said, Guy, I love you so much and we have to stop. And he said, okay. and we got these fantastic pictures. No sooner had we left these on the other side of the road, well, there were black swans out in the water. I've never seen any black swans in the wild, so I said, I know it's just across the road and it's just a little stop. Next we came to Lake Ruataniwa. Okay, so what? It's an artificial lake, but it's blue. Look at how blue this is. How can you not stop? Finally, we make it to Lake Pukaki. This is considered one of the prettiest lakes in the world. You know, I hadn't even seen pictures of Lake Pukaki, but I had to look at the topographical maps on Google Maps and seen this lake. And just from, if you're looking at just the South Island, this lake pops. This lake looks unbelievably blue. I don't know if it was just the angle of the satellite or what, but even from like the moon view, okay, maybe not the moon, but from really high up, and I have to tell you, it did not disappoint. Look how beautiful it is. The blue turquoise color is due to a fine silt. It's like a particle, like a dust that's in the water. And there's so many particles and they're so small that they don't settle out to the bottom really easy. They're from glaciers that go along the ground up in the mountains, and they make this fine dust that comes down, and it looks like, on the rocks, it looks like this white flour that covers everything. And I don't know why white flour in the water makes the water look blue, but I'm telling you it does. Unbelievably blue. Now, one of the things that's tricky about water photography is that if you're shooting into the sun, you don't capture the blue as well as if you're shooting away from the sun. So that does make it tricky. So sometimes when you look at this picture, just magnify the blue times by about 20, and that's what reality was. This time, Guy was ready to get out, and we went walking along the rocks to be able to get to the edge of the lake. In the back, Mount Cook looming above the lake, making just gorgeous scenery for photography. Next, we went to Lake Tekapo. Lake Pukaki and Lake Tekapo are two of them that are very well known for their incredibly blue water. You really don't need good foregrounds for this lake to get awesome photography, but there are some really nice ones. There's the Lake Tekapo footbridge that was really fun to walk across and made for gorgeous photography. The Church of the Good Shepherd was built in 1935 and is the most photographed church in New Zealand, and you can see why. How did New Zealand get all this stuff? Look at this blue lake and that mountain behind, and look at the color of the trees along the water, and then how that contrasts with the foothills behind it. When we'd seen the easily accessible part of Lake Tekapo, Guy was ready to head back, and I'd read in NZ Frenzy, a guide to New Zealand, which kind of shows off the off-beaten paths of places to see in New Zealand. It had recommended going back on Braemar Road and Hayman Road, and I was able just to say, hey, honey, sweet love of my life, instead of going back the same way that we've already been, why don't we go slightly on a little teeny tiny detour and see something different? Honey, what do you think? Love you so much. Don't you think we should do it? And he said, yes. So off we went. Just traveling along Bramer Road was beautiful. It was something about the sky and the landscape and the sky and something about the landscape. I just don't have good words for it, but it was fun just to look and occasionally go, oh, honey, there's a creek. We should stop now. Honey, I told you that we're not supposed to stop. I know, honey, but this is just a pretty creek. Can we just stop here for a second? I just want to know where these clouds came from. How does New Zealand score these kind of clouds? These are gorgeous clouds. Look at them compared with the ground below and the winding road, and it's just pretty. And so we had to stop again. It's not my fault. None of this is my fault. If New Zealand weren't so pretty, I wouldn't be in so much trouble right now. I'm sorry, honey, but we have to stop again. I started asking questions like, how do you define stopping? Is stopping when the wheels stop or when we stop more than 15 minutes? Is that a stop? How do you find stopping? Because I said we weren't going to stop, but now I'm not so sure about that definition. Could you help me? And a little bit later, honey, look, there's some pretty sheep here to the side. You want to stop for sheep? Yes, I want to stop to take pictures of sheep. Just one little sheep or a couple? And then he would say yes. It wasn't long before we made it back to Lake Pukaki, and unfortunately, the sun was in a different position and we were on a different side of the lake, and I just thought maybe we should stop again. Honey, can we stop here? And then just a little bit later, no, honey, look at the lake from here. This looks like a good viewpoint. Can we stop here, sweet love of my life? Can we, please? And so we stopped. I have to say that video of this lake does not do it justice. Again, we were shooting into the sun, and it did not show just the vibrance of the blue and the water that it really was. So again, if you could turn up the saturation and the vibrance in your mind, and it was just really pretty. The word I am searching for is disciplined. We're going to be so disciplined there won't be any stopping. Except for right here. Maybe the word we're searching for is self-control. We're not stopping anywhere except for right here. Oh gosh, the word is determination. We're not stopping anywhere, no matter how pretty it is, except for right here. I got it. The word is impulse control. We are not stopping for any impulses for pretty stuff except for here. Finally, Guy had it. It was starting to get dark. And we didn't have much time before sunset, so Guy finally shut down this little day trip, and we headed back, and he held to his words of no more stops. I hope you enjoyed this trip with us. We had a blast.
Hey, wait for me. Hold on. Just a second. I want to go too.